So from DOGE to GONE, it's been 4 months of unprecedented government overhaul, resistance from cabinet members, and the occasional nose-picking. Now, ex-slasher-in-chief Elon Musk is retiring his chainsaw. The Tesla and SpaceX CEO is stepping away from his special role at the Department of Government Efficiency, posting online, "I would like to thank President Trump for the opportunity to reduce wasteful spending." For almost 130 days, Musk led the charge on cutting billions of dollars in federal money, upending agencies or programs he determined were government waste. And according to our teams here at ABC, more than 200,000 federal employees have been impacted by those DOGE cuts. We've been reporting about the layoffs. Here's just some of what they've told us over the time.
We were just basically tossed out on the streets. And so that has been angering and heartbreaking. And our pay stopped the day we got the termination letter. So we're all without a paycheck.
It was a very strange thing to have a career one day and not have a career the next, without knowing that there was a transition coming specifically. I'm very concerned about keeping the money flowing to the states, because that's what keeps the services going for our students.
Well, Musk's exit from the administration comes just days after he said he was disappointed in Trump's massive spending bill, saying it will upend DOGE's efforts to shrink the federal government. Let's bring in our senior Washington correspondent, Will Staken. He's been covering Elon Musk's leadership of DOGE since day one. Okay, we've been talking all along that it was a 130-day appointment, but everybody sort of thought it would go past that because of how close the president is with Musk. It is interesting, the timing approaching this deadline of 130 days, and also Musk criticizing the president.
That's right. Not only did we think it would maybe go past, I mean, Musk had been talking about it like it would go past. Oh, I'll be, when he stepped down about a month ago, said he wouldn't be around DOGE as much. He said, but I'll be in the administration for the rest of the term he wanted to be, maybe a couple of days a week. So this is a big change.
And they made office space for him,
He has an office in the White House, a small little office, he likes to call it. But this is a big change, and I think, a lot of that is due to there's growing frustrations within the White House, but also growing frustrations among Musk over how things went over this time here.
Okay, so growing frustrations among other cabinet members, and maybe even Trump himself and Musk. So does this come down to two of the biggest egos just couldn't work it out, or the fact that he really wants to go back and handle his, his spacecraft and his car companies? And what's your sense? I mean, you've been in the room, with him and others, and been, looking at the interactions and listening to what's being said. Mm-hmm. I think it's a combination of everything?
I think it's a combination of everything. I think, the White House is saying that Trump and Musk still have a very good relationship. The president could have took a swipe at Elon Musk yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't.
Right.
So I think that's interesting, but now he's gone the next day. So maybe that's a tell.
Read between the lines.
But, Catherine Folders and I reported, months ago when these headlines were everywhere about what DOGE was doing and Democrats were seizing on it, that people in the White House were counting down these 130 days quietly. They knew they couldn't push him out right away. They saw this 130 days as a nice send-off. And so I think there's, we're going to have to see if this continues, if there's a feud or some kind of bad blood continues. But right now it seems like we're at a standstill.
Well, and the damage is done. So let's just kind of recap that for a second. We heard from some of the workers that we interviewed here on set that all of a sudden lost their jobs. So the damage done, and also, can damage still be done while he's gone? He still has folks that were on his, in his team that are active.
Upwards to over 100, I think DOGE people are still, they're not leaving. I think a couple of them, we're going to try to get some reporting about who exactly, but majority of them are sticking around, and they've been handpicked by Elon, and they're going to be remaining in government for as long as they can, still carrying out the DOGE mission, as Elon says. So I think the damage, whatever potential damage to agencies could continue. But I also think there's a little bit of, how much damage did he do? He promised $1 trillion in cuts. He says it's been $175 billion. We can't even really verify that that's how much cuts that were actually made. There's this around 200,000 jobs eliminated. A lot of that's going to be held up in courts for a while. We'll see how many people are brought back. It seems every other week a new agency is told to rehire people. So really it's going to take some time to see what actually Doge accomplished here and if it was a success. Right now, they haven't met their goals. So I think Elon Musk is at least leaving, not reaching any of his goals.
And there's no proof that this has been successful in any way, shape, or form. We just know of all the people that have lost jobs.
Yes, and I think to your point, those clips are important because that's the impact, is people losing their jobs. Maybe the numbers weren't as big as Elon Musk came in, but these were a lot of people that lost their jobs. A lot of people also, a lot of programs impact. I think USAID is kind of the major hit that Elon Musk took. That was his first kind of target, and he completely dismantled that and ripped funding away from a lot of programs overseas and over in countries that they would argue they need them. And even some conservatives weren't thrilled with that. And so we're going to have to see how much that changes now that he's fully gone.
Do we know if he keeps the office? Yes, no, not sure?
I don't think he's going to be keeping the office.
Okay. Wonder who moves into that office. Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, going to sage it out. Could have some bad juju. All right, Will, thank you so much. I appreciate it.